Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Victor Melcher, and today we're going to be doing a Q&A. And the questions I'll be doing today came from Instagram. Now, before we get into it, I just want to make a quick update on what you can expect from this channel in the future. So when I started this channel last year, my initial focus was just to make filmmaking videos and filmmaking tutorials. But as my interests have kind of expanded, I've been having a lot of fun with film photography. And the past 2 film photography videos, they were incredibly fun to make. And it was incredibly cool just to interact with a bunch of you in the comments. So going forward, in addition to some filmmaking tutorials, you can expect a lot more film photography videos on this channel. So I'm incredibly excited for that. And I already have next week's video filmed. That was a really fun one, so I can't wait for y'all to see it. And now let's get into the Q&A. And the first question is best gear to have when starting out in photo/video. So starting out, this might sound a little cliche, but I would say the best gear to have when starting out is whatever you can afford. Even if that's just shooting on your phone, I think what matters most is just being able to get out there and shoot. But I will list some good affordable options. So when I started out, I got this Lumix G7 and a Lumix 20mm. I got them for like $400 to $500 off of Craigslist. They shoot 4K video and they shoot some pretty good photos. And I would also recommend the Sony A7, the original A7, just because you can get it for so cheap on eBay. And if you combine that with like a vintage Canon FD lens, you can have a solid setup on starting out with. And also some of the older Fujifilm cameras like the X-T2 or X-T3. And starting out in film photography, I am on the exact same boat, but after doing some research, I found that the Bronica ETRS-I is a great option for starting out in medium format. I got this camera for $585 on eBay, and if that is a bit out of your price range, I definitely recommend starting out in 35mm film photography, because you can get one of those cameras on eBay for like $100 to $200 and just get started shooting film. Get whatever you can afford and whatever will get you out to shoot and have fun. If you could rewatch a movie again for the first time, which would it be? It would have to be Star Wars Episode 3: Revenge of the Sith.
This is where the fun begins.
And that is because it is my favorite Star Wars film ever made, and also I just have a lot of nostalgia because I saw it in theaters when I was like 6 years old. That would be a movie that I would love to rewatch for the first time. How did you go about finding and booking your first freelance job? So my first freelance job was actually a wedding video that I did for some family, and the way I found it was actually through my girlfriend. She had posted on her Instagram story, hey, if anyone's looking for a videographer, just reach out to my boyfriend. And it was actually her family, and they reached out, and that's how I got my first gig. I would say for going out and finding your first freelance job, go out and shoot as much stuff as you can on your own, with some friends, with some family. Just post it on Instagram and post on your story that like, hey, if anyone's looking for some photo or video, hit me up. As you post more and people start becoming more aware of your work, people will slowly start reaching out to you. And it could be a different experience for you, but when I started out, I was doing a lot of unpaid or low budget work. I would look at it kind of like an internship phase, just because you're still trying to get experience. What are your favorite things to film? I would say my favorite things to film are just random trips I take with my girlfriend, or times I'm hanging out with my little sister, or just stuff like that. Stuff that's a little bit more closer to my heart. As I'm growing now, I'm kind of finding that just getting to document like my everyday life with my loved ones is a lot more important than anything I've ever shot. And going forward, I am kind of trying to make that a little bit more of my focus. And you'll probably start to see that more and more as I post more film photography videos, or eventually I do want to kind of make some fun travel videos whenever I travel with my girlfriend. So I would say filming my loved ones is probably my favorite thing to film. Why do you have so much Mike Wazowski? It all started on a Halloween night, and my girlfriend and I were at Mickey's Halloween. We had went through this little dance party section, and in the midst of it, I had seen a life-size Mike Wazowski just dancing, and for some reason, I wasn't even a huge fan of Monsters, Inc. prior to this, but once I saw him dancing, I just lost it. After that, Mike Wazowski just instantly became my favorite character, and a bunch of different friends have just bought or made different like pieces of art for me. I don't know what it's called, but it's like a knitted Mike Wazowski from my friend Jackie, a painting of Mike Wazowski from my friend Phoebe, and I have a mini squishmallow of Mike Wazowski from my friend Bailey. So yeah, that's the history of Mike Wazowski for me. What got you into this field? So initially I was in theater all 4 years of going to high school, and my plan was to become a theater major and potentially either become a theater teacher and go on audition for a bunch of different plays. During my first semester of community college, there wasn't any theater classes available for me to take, so I just took a film course instead. During that film course, it sparked this huge interest in everything regarding filmmaking, from cinematography to directing and editing. So after that, I pretty much just dove straight into it, and I dropped out of community college after 2 semesters and just bought as much much camera gear as I could and made as many different projects as I could. And yeah, it's just been a really cool creative journey for me. Who are some of your biggest inspirations for photo/video? So starting out in film photography, I gotta say one of my biggest inspirations has been Sissy Lou. She is a film photographer based out in New York, and I absolutely love her photos and her style. And a lot of times she'll go out in New York and meet new people and take their portrait. And it's a really interesting way of street photography that I really like, because part of me feels kind of iffy about certain street photographers when they go out and just like snap a photo of someone without even asking them. But her, on the other hand, she'll go out, have a conversation with them, and she ends up getting great results just because I think she gets to have that personal connection with them. Another great film photographer I've been inspired by is Willem Verbeek. I absolutely love watching his videos, and I love his style of just kind of going out, exploring, and taking photos. His style is just incredibly freeing, inspiring, and I love how he can capture these beautiful images just out of everyday walks or just from some trips he'll take. And every time I watch a YouTube video of his, it just makes me want to load a roll of film in and go out and shoot. Another film photographer that I really love his work, his name is Kyle Flores. I had seen his photos and I love it because he'll just go out with family and friends and again create these beautiful images with his loved ones. And that's something, like I mentioned earlier, that is becoming more and more important to me. And now for video, a filmmaker that I find to be a huge inspiration is Joshua Martin. And I had been following his work since about 2017, and he's always had a great eye for cinematography and a deep understanding of storytelling. And he had recently put out a short film based around his struggles with maintaining a work-life balance with his family and also dealing with his own anxiety. So that really hit close to home with me, not in the sense of me having children, but in the sense of me struggling with anxiety and also trying to find a work-life balance and not let it kind of fully overtake my life. So your proudest moment? I gotta say, while money is not the biggest and most important thing about a creative career, one of my proudest moments was actually being able to afford my Sony FX3. Just because for the past 3 years I had been struggling with like, would I be able to make this a career and would I be able to make a living out of this? And just being able to finally afford my FX3 just reassured that like I can make a living out of doing something I'm passionate about. How do you stay motivated in your craft? I would say the way I stay motivated specifically in video and photo is set more of a larger future goal for yourself. Say like 5 years from now, like where would you want to be? 5 years from now, I want to be a full-time YouTuber, and with that being my larger goal, it kind of continues to give me a motivation and a reason to go out and shoot different videos and shoot different photos. How do you usually get past a creative block? Say if I'm struggling with a specific concept or project, I will kind of shelve that for later and focus on something new, just because you can spend weeks and months trying to figure out something, but if it just doesn't work for you now, that's okay. Don't be afraid to put a project to the side and focus on something new. Is it difficult coming up with new concepts, or do they typically come as you go? It can be difficult coming up with concepts if I'm burnt out, but the way I deal with burnout is either one, by taking a break, even if that's for a day or 2 days of just not thinking about whatever I'm shooting, and also again experimenting. And recently I have not been working on a lot of like filmmaking style videos, but I have been making more film photography videos. It's just been giving me this new excitement and it's something new to try. I would say it can be difficult coming up with concepts through burnout, but once you get past that, they do kind of just come as you go. And typically right now what I like to do is get my notebook at the beginning of the month and write like 4 to 5 ideas of photo projects or video projects that I want to make. With a little bit of planning and just sitting down and thinking of what you want to create, that helps a lot, and that will give you like a North Star for your future projects. All right everyone, so that is it for my Q&A. I hope you enjoyed. I hope that was just a bit of a fun way to get to know me a little better, and I definitely plan on doing more Q&As in the future. And you can go ahead and follow me on Instagram, so whenever I post a questionnaire, you can go ahead and ask away. Anyways, I just want to say thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.